have some understanding of HTML? You can just type yes or no in the chat window. People who have never touched HTML, people who do not know anything about HTML. Rohit knows nothing about HTML. Ankit knows nothing. Sneha knows it. Okay, good. About others? Vijaya knows HTML. Suresh also, I have some understanding on HTML. Good. So some people are aware of HTML, some are not aware of HTML. Okay. Narayan says, I do not know HTML. Okay. So for your understanding, HTML is a markup language, and this is usually used by web designers to design the web pages. Okay, the most basic language for web designing. Okay, so it has very simple tags. Okay, let's say on the web page you write hello. Okay, now if you want to make this hello bold, then you write a tag this way. So there is a tag like this. So if you put this hello within these tags, then this will become bold. If you want to make it make this hello as italics, then you will have to write it this way. So this is basically a language which can control the markup, the way your text will look, where your text will come, will it come in the left side, right side, top, bottom, center. Okay. Will it be bold, will it be italics, what color the text will have, and all that stuff. So a lot of things, hyperlink and all this. So this is what your HTML can do. All right. So while we are designing a web page, HTML helps us put these kind of tags. So this is not a programming language also, this is just a markup language. Okay. So you have a few tags which can control the look and feel of the text or image or whatever you want to display on the page. Okay. So this basically controls the display. Okay, so this was just for people who do not know HTML at all. People who have already some background or some understanding of HTML definitely understand this part. Now, HTML is used for designing the web pages. Okay, so what you can do is you can design some small simple web pages. Definitely, I know the websites and the complex web pages that you see nowadays. Those cannot be done using HTML because HTML is very basic and we need a lot of other things, but we are not bothered about any other thing. We are just talking about HTML here. Okay, so this has very basic tags and all which can help you design your page the way you want. Now, while we are talking about user interface in Salesforce, that is also a web-based page. That's also a web page kind of a thing, because Salesforce is on web. And we are talking about designing a page on that, right? So there we use Visualforce. Okay, Visualforce is also a markup language which is similar to HTML. Okay, so it also has its own tags and all, and it's a little similar to HTML. It also uses HTML tags. So some basic HTML tags are used within Visualforce. Like if you have to make a text look bold in Visualforce also, you will do it this way only. You will put this HTML tag B. If you have to put italic, you will have to put this. If you have to put a line break, it should be like this. If you have to put a paragraph break, then you have to put this. So these basic syntax or the tags of HTML are used in Visualforce as well. All right. So that is what I want you to understand, that basically Visualforce is the language which we are going to use to design the pages. So Visualforce will be used for controlling this will control the look and feel of the page. Alright. So though we have done our page layouts and we have seen that there are a few drag and drop options where we can change the position of the fields, we can make some fields mandatory and all, but that was all declarative way, right? Now we want to get into something where we would write the code and control everything, all the minute details of the page. Okay, that is where we will use Visualforce. All right, so we'll create our own pages and we will design the pages the way we want, and we will write the programs or the codes for everything. Alright. Now this is a markup language which is similar to HTML, as I told you. Alright. So first thing that we do here is, let's straight away go and start understanding the Visualforce page. First thing that you have to do is you have to create a Visualforce page. Okay, blank Visualforce page, and then you will start putting components into it. First of all, we will create a blank Visualforce page, and then we'll start putting components into it. That is what we have to do. Okay, so let's get started with creating a Visualforce page. Before you can create a Visualforce page, you just have to make a small setup change. You have to go to your personal settings, and you have to switch on the development mode, or check the development mode option. What is this development mode? Development mode basically provides a Visualforce editor, code editor. Okay, it provides a code editor for the Visualforce pages. So you have to switch it on, then only you can start controlling the Visualforce page, and you can start writing the codes and everything. So first step should be doing the setup change which is required. So I will just quickly log in into the Salesforce, and I will show you. Suresh, can you please share the password so that I can put it here? Yeah, I'm just gonna put the password and then I will share my screen again. Can you see my screen now? How is it moving? Okay, so first thing, we have to make a small setup change so that we get the Visualforce code editor. So what we have to do, we'll go to the personal settings, my settings, go to personal and say as advanced user details. Okay, so on the personal settings, go to the advanced user details, and there you have to switch on the development mode. So you just come here, click on edit, and you will have an option of turning on the development mode. Where it is, here is this development mode. Alright, now just click on save. Okay, so the development mode is turned on. Now creating the page. Okay, so first thing, whenever you start working on Visualforce page, you should, any organization, any login, you should do this thing. Development mode should be turned on. All right, if it is not on, then the moment you try to create a Visualforce page, you will get an error. Okay, so this is the first thing that you should do, and this is a one-time activity. You don't have to do it every now and then. This is done, which means this is activated for you. Till that time, you do not go and deactivate it. Okay. Now creating the page. So let's create the blank page. Development mode turn on. Create blank page. How will you do that? Go to the URL. Delete everything in the URL after salesforce.com. Whatever is written, delete everything. Type apex give a slash. So after salesforce.com slash delete everything, then type apex, give a slash and give the page name. Your page name cannot have space or special character. So the page name that I'm going to put is V1. Whatever you feel like you can put. Just make sure that you're not putting something which has a special character or a space. That's it. So this V1 is going to be your new Visualforce page. Just press enter. Alright, press enter. It will throw you an error. It says that this page does not exist. It actually does not exist because it has not yet been created. Just below that it gives you an option to create the page. Just click on this and your page will be created. Correct? So simple way of creating a page is go to the URL, delete everything after salesforce.com slash, write apex, give a slash, put a name to the page, press enter. It will throw an error and it will give you an option to create the page with that name. That's it. So my page V1 is ready. This is the blank page that I have created. It only has one line. Congratulations, this is your new page. That's it. That is what I have on this page at this point of time. Whatever other things I want on this page, I can fill it myself. Okay. And here is the code editor. We see at the bottom, this is the code editor. You just have to click on this. It will get expanded. And this is where you will get to see the code. You see, this is the code of this page. You see, congratulations. This H1 is an HTML tag. Okay, and that is the reason why congratulations appears to be a little highlighted. You want to make it italics. Whatever changes you make in the code, you have to just click here to save those changes, and then those changes will be reflected here on the page. See, now I've made it italics. Got it? Now coming to the coding part. Every page will have a start component and end component. In Visualforce, every page will have a page start component and a page end component. Okay, so every page starts from apex colon page and it ends with apex colon page. Whatever designing you have to do, whatever components you want to put, has to be within these two things. Okay, so this is your boundary. This is the start and this is the end point. Whatever you want to write, hi, hello, get lost, welcome, everything should be in this. You want to add images, you want to put links, buttons, hyperlinks, data, tables, forms, whatever has to come within this. Okay, so all my markup should appear within these two things. Okay, nothing beyond this line, nothing here, everything should be here. So you want to say hello, hi, how are you? Okay, so whatever has to come within this thing. Alright, within the pages component. Clear on this? Are we good so far? Okay. Now the way we have this page component, apex page component, this way we have a lot of components in Salesforce or in the Visualforce, right? We have components like for creating a table, for creating a button, we have a component for creating hyperlinks, we have component for inserting an image, we have component for inserting output field, input field, text box. For everything we have components. Okay, So the basic one is the page component, which is used at the start and end of the page, and this is by default there. You need at least one component to be there on the Visualforce page always, which is the Apex page component. It has to be there. Got it? So now within this thing, whatever we want to put, we will put. All right. Now, parallelly, while we are talking about this Visualforce thing, I would give you an assignment to work on HTML. You know, I saw that a few people are not that okay with HTML. So I don't want you to become an expert in HTML, but just to gain some knowledge on HTML, to have some sort of understanding on HTML. There is this nice tutorial on w3schools.com. Very nice tutorial. So we have here w3schools.com. Okay. Okay. So you can just open this HTML tutorial here for people who have already worked on HTML. I think that's fine even if you don't do this, but people who are new to HTML, I would suggest you start reading from here. It would not take more than 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours for you to finish till here at least. Maybe some point here, color names, color values and all these things. Even if you don't get into JavaScript, that's absolutely fine. So you can cover these 15-20 tutorials easily in 2 hours time. Okay, and everything, the code will be written, you have to read, write, and you can create your own HTML files and check it, right? So it will be a good thing for you if you can take out only 2 hours during this weekend. If you are completely new to HTML, just spend couple of hours on the HTML tutorial from here, right? I am gonna share this on the chat window. Please pick it from the chat window in case you want, or you can remember the website name W3 Schools. It's quite nice name. They have got. Okay.
Jeet, can we do practice on this Visualforce itself of this HTML simple tabs?
Keep on doing. Fine. Just that this HTML, this body and all these things will not be required. You copy this much.
Okay.
Fine. So that's it. You just keep on putting all these things on Visualforce. But all the tags will not work with. All the tags are not compatible with Visualforce. Most of them are. Fine. So if something is not working, just skip that. Go to the other thing.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So that's about our basic understanding of the Visualforce page. Anyone has any questions so far? How we created the page? So we have talked about a few things. We have talked about how to create a Visualforce page. We have also talked about how to set up the development mode for the Visualforce editor. We have created the page. We have put a few component tags inside that, and we have understood the Apex page component. So far, anyone has a question? Everyone seems
Hi,
to.
Jeet.
Yeah.
Actually, you said that Apex component is one of the components.
Apex page component. Yeah.
Apex, yeah. So if you want to create any buttons and any colors, so those are the other. Those belongs to the another components. Am I right?
Those are all different components. Yes. So these are all called components.
Okay.
So this is the page component, and that way you will have page block, page section, table, button, all different components, right? So what you need, you will pick that. Correct?
Okay. So based on the requirement, we have to switch to the components.
Bring the components. Yes, we will have to bring in the components which are there. All right.
Yeah.
If you come here, please go ahead.
Ajit, Rohit here.
Yeah.
Ajit, I understood the entire thing till yet. I just want to be on, for my clarification or my better understanding. why we do this creation of Visualforce, and why we do actually programming when we have such kind of a flexibility under functionality part itself? Just to create easily and in a fast mode, we do programming,
Hey,
and once
programming.
yeah.
The answer is that programming, when you start writing programs, you can actually get into the depth of customization. So you can control each and
Okay.
every bit. So page layout, you must have seen that we had a very few options. We can change the
Correct.
location of the fields and all that stuff. But if you want to completely change the page, completely change the way it looks, the logics that are to be used, then you have to get into programming. Then you have to be the writer, script writer. Okay, so that is what. The moment you feel that okay fine, the requirement that you have is not manageable through the drag and drop option, then you will have to write programming. Got it?
Okay.
So that's how it
Okay.
is. So for everything we have seen business logics, we have talked about validation rules and all that stuff. So you can put simple logics using validations, but if you have to write a very complex logic, which is checking 20 different records and going to 2-3 different objects and checking some logic and coming back, then you cannot do that using validation rule, right? Then you have to write program for that. So same way for page, till the time we are able to manage with page layout. Okay, that's a good question that you asked, and let me put a point here. We would only start writing programs only when we realize that what we need is not possible using the declarative method. So far whatever we have done should be your priority. The best practices, one of the best practices is do not use programming till the time you can manage without programming. Okay, so usually what happens is some people who are from the programming background and who have been writing programs and code, they do have this habit of start writing the programs for everything. They start writing program for everything. Just give me 1 second. Hold on for a minute.
So I got the number from Karthik, and I'm messaging the call from the messenger. Did you smoke for between 10 and 30 Central Time? So that's in another less than half an hour. So what are the details you want from my side, and how you want me to divert the call to your number? So you want me to put in conference or just put in a call divert?
Hello. Yeah. Sorry. Hello. You all can hear me?
Can you, sorry, Jeet, can you please show me the setup thing in this thing? I'm not able to see it. Advanced user setting.
1 minute. Huh. No, you have to go to my settings. Yeah, click on your name, my settings. Then go to personal and then go to advanced. Advanced user details, and yes. Click on edit, search for development mode, switch it on. Hello, can you all hear me? Hello, can you all hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
Chief.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know what was the issue. Okay, Vijaya, now you got it? You have to switch on
Yes.
the development mode?
I'm still looking.
There is a edit button at the top. Yeah, so before you can change it, you have to click on the edit button at the top.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Mm,
Okay, so coming back to my screen. Okay. So here is my screen, right? Now, where was I? All right. All right. So we have understood basic concepts of creating a page and everything. So anyone has a question? I think someone was asking some question before I got a call. Someone had a question. Was that clarified? We're all good. All right. So the next thing that we have to understand, there are two things. One is a component and second is an attribute. Okay. So okay, I was showing this thing. We were talking about the components. I think Suresh was asking about different components and all. See, the moment you type Apex here, you see a complete list of all types of components. This is a complete list of the components which can be used. But don't worry, I mean, you don't have to use or you don't have to work on everything. So every component that we see, so like Apex page, we have a lot of components which can be used. Okay. Some common examples of components can be a table, it can be a data table, it can be a button, it can be a link. So these are the examples of components. Image. Now every component has a few attributes. Okay. For example, right now we have an Apex page component. Okay. There is an attribute here called sidebar. Okay, and you have an option of making sidebar equals true or false. Currently it is true. You can see the sidebar here on this page. If you make it false, you will not see the sidebar. So the sidebar is an attribute of the page component. See, the sidebar is gone. Header is also an attribute of the Apex page component. See this thing? So header is also a component of the page, the page component. Correct? This is also an attribute of the page component. Got that thing? So that's about the attributes. So gradually, once we start doing more examples and stuff, we will see more attributes and all. So we are good with the attribute concept. Components and attributes we have understood. Every component will have a few attributes. Okay. Next thing that I want to talk about is markups and controllers. So I'm today basically talking on more on the terminology so that you understand all the terminologies, and then we'll get into the examples and stuff. So the next thing that we have to understand is markups and controllers. What is markup? Markup means all that we see on the screen. Whatever is there on the screen, whatever the end user can view, that is all markup. Then what is a controller? Controller basically consists of the controlling logics. Okay, the logics or the programs that you have written that works in the backend that you don't see. Okay, when a user clicks on a link, what will happen? That's a controller logic. Okay, when the user loads the page, what data will be displayed? That is the controller logic, right? And what is displayed actually, that is all markup. So if you have a button, that's a markup, but what that button will do, that is a controller logic. Got it? So markup is basically the UI component, and controller is the logical component there. Got it? So controller is not visible, but this controls the entire page. Okay. So at this point of time on this page, there is no controller, there is only markup. We do not have any controller, we do not have any logic working on this. We have just put a few markups here, and that's it. It's working on this. That's it, right? At this point of time, there is no controller on this. All right. Okay. So we have understood about markups and controllers also. Now let's go and talk about different types of controllers. So there are 4 types of controllers that will be used in Visualforce. One is the standard controller. Second is standard list controller. Third is custom controller, and the fourth one is extension. Standard list, custom, and extension. So these are 4 different types of controllers that we do have in Visualforce. Okay, we will talk about each of the controllers one by one. So we'll start with standard controller, and then eventually we'll get into all these other controllers also. So standard controller, you understand what is controller? Controller is basically set of logics. To make things easy for you, controller is basically set of controlling logics which control the page. Right? So controller is basically the set of controlling logics that control the page. Now we do have standard list, custom, and extension. We'll start with the standard controller thing. This is the most basic type of a controller. Okay. This is the simplest of all controllers. This controller uses, so this is basically the controller. What is standard? If you remember, standard and custom. Standard object, custom object, standard field, custom field. Standard is something which is provided by Salesforce, right? So here also when we say standard controller, we are referring to the controller which is already there, created by Salesforce. Okay. So this refers to the controller. Standard controller basically refers to the set of logics which is used by Salesforce.com on the standard pages which have been created by Salesforce. So in this case, I don't have to write any program, or I don't have to write the logics. In this case, I am just using the standard Salesforce logics. Okay, so the moment you say that I want to use a standard controller on a page, means you just want to use the standard set of logics which have been defined by Salesforce.com for that particular page or object. Got it? So that is what you need to understand. Alright. Now if we look into this page as of now has got no connection with anything. Is it connected to the database? No. Is there any controlling logic on this? No. This is just a markup. the simply markup page. When I try to put controller here, I have to connect it to some backend object. I have to connect it to the database, because whatever actions, where will the actions happen? We have a 3-layer MVC framework, right? MVC, model view controller. So we have model, we have view, we have controller. So we have 3 layers, right? Now view is just markup, controller is the logic, model is the data model, right? So whatever controlling logic happens, that will affect what? That will affect the model layer, right? That will affect the model, the data model, right? So that is the thing here. That is what we just have to understand. Give me 1 minute. All right. So now while we are putting controller on the page, what we have to do, we have to connect this page with some object, right? Basically controller will go and make changes, or whatever actions will be performed in the model layer in the database, right? So each object, let's understand it this way. Let's not get into this again. Let's understand it this way. Standard controller, I told you, standard controller is set of controlling logics which is already defined by Salesforce. We don't have to do anything. So every object in your Salesforce, be it standard or a custom object, every object has a standard controller linked to it. So you have a standard controller for account, you have a standard controller for contact, for opportunity, for cases, for whatever custom objects you have created, everything has a standard controller associated to it. Alright. So every standard or custom object has a standard controller associated to it. Got it? Like account, contact, every object has a standard controller. Now on this page, if I want this page to be connected to account, I have to write it this way. Standard controller equals account, name of the object. Now this small attribute, standard controller equals account, will connect my current Visualforce page with the account object, okay? And it also has got all the controlling logics of the account page. Got it? So it has got connected to that account object, this page, and it has got the set of logics, predefined set of logics from the salesforce.com for the account object, right? Now you can write here something like account.name. Now it knows what is name. Account.name means account is the object name and name is the field name here, right? Now if you write it this way, it knows what is a name because it is connected to the account object, right? If you would have written it earlier, it would not have made sense to this. But now it knows that, okay, fine, what is account and what is the account.name thing. If you write account.industry, so because I've already defined the controller here, I've connected it to account, it knows what is account industry. But if I write contact dot first name, it will not recognize this. Why? Because my page is connected to account object. It does not know what is contact. Fine, makes sense? So using controller, what we have done, we have basically connected it to the particular object and all the set of logics for that particular object, and we can now use the data from that object to be displayed on this page. Let me know if you have any questions on this. All right.
Jeet, hi, this is Ankit. I have a question.
Yeah, tell me.
Jeet, this this account dot name, then the bracket closed. Then after this BR / is marked after BR. And while you were telling us about HTML, you had mentioned that / was coming before BR or before T or before I.
Okay. So this is just when I am talking of I tag starts and then it closes, right? This is just a single tag, so that is the reason why the / comes here. Got it? So this is again a small syntax tag. This was used for line.
Single slash.
So it's a single tag, right? There is no open and close to this tag. Okay. In that case, slash.
Okay, so in single.
So when there is no open and close, then the slash comes at the end. Fine.
Okay. Yeah, this is called single tag. Tag is the terminology that is going to be used over here.
Terminology, so I'm not very sure exactly what we will call it, but usually this is a tag. Don't call it a single tag basically, but because it just does not have an open and end to it, that is the reason why there will be the slash at the end of it. Got it? So theoretically, though, I am also not very much sure exactly what it is called. But practically, you can you understand what is happening here? What is the difference between Can you understand what is the difference between this B bold tag and this line break tag? It has a start and it has an end, right? But it just has the same start, same end. Okay, so in that case the slash comes at the end. Okay. All right. So we are clear on this. Now it shows throws an error. I told you it will not recognize contact. It does not know what is contact. It only knows account. It says unknown property this contact. Contact is something that it does not recognize. So just go ahead and delete this time. It does not have any problem with account.name and account.industry. All right. Clear? Now the point is, though I have written these two lines, does it show anything here? It does not throw error. It does not show anything as well. Why is it so? I've written two lines. I've asked it to display account name and industry. Does it show anything here? This is completely blank. What can be the error? What can be the issue?
You have to click on save.
No, save to we have done already.
Achha.
Then what is the problem?
You have to put accounts instead of account?
No. Think about it.
We have to put some buttons, to reach the account name and industry.
No. Very close.
Connected to the account.
We have not created a field.
Field is there, name field is already there in the account, right? Industry is there. We have to give some reference of which account are we talking about, right? Now I have connected this standard controller equal account, has connected it to the account object. Then I say show me account name. Now Salesforce does not know which account I am talking about. This account object can have 100, thousands, 10,000 accounts, right? Which account I am talking to, I have to give some reference for that, right? So this is not an error, but the point is that we have not referred to any particular account. We have to give the reference of a given account, okay, whichever we want to see. So for the time being, we will take the ID of some record and give the reference. So this reference of the record is usually given in the URL, okay. So you go to accounts, open any of the account. We have already talked about this, that every record in Salesforce has a unique ID, and that ID appears in the URL. So just copy this ID, come back to your Visualforce page. After your Visualforce page name, put question mark ID equals and paste it. Alright. So what we have to do, we just have to do question mark ID equals to these 4 characters and paste the ID. Now do you see Burlington Textile, apparel? Now it has a reference, it knows which account details I have to show. Correct? The same way if I go to accounts and then I go to, let's say, all accounts, and I take ID from some other record. Take it from Edge Communications. Copy the ID. Come here. Don't change everything, just change the ID part. That's it. Edge Communications Electronics. Got that thing? So now it knows the reference, now it can refer to the right record and display the data from that particular record. Please let me know if anyone has a question or challenge here understanding this. You're okay? Everyone clear on this? So basically using a standard controller, just 1 minute Suresh. So basically using a standard controller, what we are doing, we are connecting our page with any object. So in this case we have connected it with account. What data you want to display from account, that you have to write it here. Which record you are talking about, that should be written in the URL. That record ID needs to be supplied in the URL, that's it. So this is a dynamic value. When the ID changes, the value in the pages will change. So this is not basically this is not a static page, this is a dynamic page. With the change of the ID, the values on the page will keep on changing. Correct? Yes, Suresh, please go ahead. You're saying something.
Yeah, I mean, actually, what I can understand, like, you just want to see the values of the account name or industry. That's it. We are not doing anything. So in this case, in standard controller, we should use the code part, related to the particular name or industry. That's it. We are not assigning any new things here. Am I right?
Nothing. We are still displaying the data only. So we are not making any changes on the database. We are just viewing the data from the database, right? We are just learning how to fetch the data. Then gradually we will go into making changes and all, right?
Sure. Thank you.
So everyone clear on this? Any other questions? Please let me know.
Jeet, hi. Jeet, I'm clear about this particular thing that you have just mentioned. Just wanted to know that, I mean, every time we have to fetch this particular account data, we have to manually do this activity?
The ID?
Yeah, the ID thing.
That is just for testing purpose, just to show you how it works. There are different ways of retrieving the ID, so it will not be done manually. Why we are doing manually?
Okay.
Because I just wanted to show you whether your page is working fine or not, right? So this is a testing phase, but then you will do it, you will connect it to something and it will automatically retrieve the ID. Fine. This is just for learning.
Jeet, Rohit here.
Yeah, right.
Jeet, I understood till here, but and I'm sure this when we are picking the ID from their objects where we have done some manual entry just for in our functional part. So I'm sure there will be something where we can create ID from here itself. So I guess that will come later. Should I take it that way? We are actually picking this ID from the accounts data where we have done some sort of manual entry. Functional part.
Right.
So picking this ID from there, or in fact we can say we will in future or in coming sessions we will create this ID here itself, right?
See, the point is that creating an ID is not the solution, right? When you want to see Burlington Textile, then you will not create ID. You have to refer to that ID and open that, right? These Visualforce pages will be used by your end users, right? Definitely, creating ID, basically when I say creating an ID, we are talking about creating a new record, right? But that can be a requirement. Sometimes that can be done from here. You can have a button which will create a new record, and you can have an option of retrieving, an existing record also. So both the ways it can be done.
Okay. But mostly what we will do entry from there and we can do changes from here, right?
Depends on what Visualforce page, basically what is the functionality of your page. If it is going to be an edit page, then the data should be retrieved from the existing database records. If you have created a new record page on Visualforce, then that will create a record, right? So it depends on both the things can be done, basically.
Okay.
So you can put functionality for creating new records and you can put functionality for editing existing records. Both the things can go parallel.
Okay.
Okay. So let's just keep it till here for today. Just go back and practice